Crime has existed as long as humans have created laws to govern themselves. Crime is a serious issue in the United States. It is evident that media has a big role in the public perception of crime. Every day, we see visuals of laws being broken via TV, online, and even social media. All of these exposures by the media is what led the media to perceive that crime rates have increased in the United States, which is what led me to my research question. Is crime in the United States increasing, or is it just a false perception led by the media? Here, I have a set of raw data obtained from the official website of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In this data, we're able to view the different classifications of crimes committed in different years from 1997 to 2016. I took the liberty of separating these into two different groups. That would be violent crimes and non-violent crimes. Violent crimes include crimes such as murder and non-negligent manslaughter, rape, and aggravated assault. Non-violent crimes include robbery, property crime, burglary, larceny theft, motor vehicle theft. Then in column L, I used a formula to sum up all of the crimes for a given year. So here's my first visualization. For my first visualization, I wanted a general knowledge of the relationships of the violent crimes from 1997 to 2016. Therefore, I went ahead and compared the total population of a specific year to the violent crimes using a pivot table. Then I created a line graph using that information. Here we compare the population, which is clearly increasing, as you can see in the line graph, and we sum up the violent crimes, which is actually pretty consistent, as you can see here. What can we infer from this? We can infer that according to the line graph, it is evident that although the population is increasing, the number of violent crimes is actually not related to that, because violent crimes are consistent, as you can see in this graph, and the population is increasing. So now, let's take a look at my second visualization. Here, I have taken the violent crimes, which include rape, murder, and non-negligent manslaughter, and the sum of aggravated assault, and compare them against one another using the years. First, I created a pivot table comparing these violent crimes in the years of 1997 to 2016. Then I created a line graph. However, it was way too much information and almost impossible to make sense out of. So, I created slicers. Slicers are a great and extensive Excel tool which allow you to filter your pivot table in a way that is similar to the way you filter fields to a pivot table. The only difference, however, is that slicers allow you to better manage the filter state of your pivot table report. Personally, what I like about slicers is the fact that they respond to one another. So you can compare some of the violent crimes to one another by selecting a range of years. Here, you can now see the line graph from 1997 to 1999. What can we infer from this? That aggravated assault, there's this minor decrease within the 2 years. Now, let's look at 2004 to 2006. Here, however, there's a slight increase. Lastly, let's take a look at 2010 to 2013. Here is going up and down. For my third visualization, I've taken the non-violent crimes such as robbery, property theft, burglary, larceny theft, and motor vehicle theft, and compared them against one another. I use the slicer for the years again, which allows us to view the bar graph and compare the crimes in a certain time period. So here you can just look at 1997, 1998, but you won't really get much from this. But when you compare this to a period of time such as 1997 to 2002, you can see that there's some sort of increase happening here. And as you go closer to the two relevant times, such as today, or 2016 actually, 2009 to 2016, you can see that there's a clear small decrease. Here is my last visualization. The way I got to this was by taking all of the violent and non-violent crimes and creating a new column where I stored the sum of all crimes, which was column L. Then I created a pivot table, selected the years and the sum of all crimes in the pivot field, and I used that to create a line graph, as you can see here. This last visual basically confirms that the answer to my research question. Crime has been decreasing since 1997 to 2016, and it is evident from all of the visuals. There are many reasons for this. These reasons can include: the 90s was a good time for economic growth. Prior to this, however, there was lots of illegal drugs such as cocaine spreading through low-income neighborhoods. This could have resulted in crime rates increasing, and when there was a decline in drugs during the 90s, that could have led to a decrease in crime rates as well. Then we have the income growth as well as the low unemployment rates. We all know that desperate times call for desperate measures. If you want something and you cannot afford it, you may go to any means to get it, which is why it is evident that greater opportunity for legal income reduces the need for illegal sources of it. The previous visual shown also suggests more abstract economic factors like inflation and consumer confidence may have played a role in this as well. We can assume that alcohol may play a vital role in some of the violent crimes such as rape, murder, and even aggravated assault. When one is intoxicated, they're more likely to do things that they would not do if they were sober. According to researchers, alcohol consumption has decreased in the last 2 decades. This may have a direct correlation in the decrease of violent crimes. If you measure the imprisonment in the United States against the rest of the world, you'll notice that the US has more prisoners than anywhere else in the world. This includes both relative and total numbers. From this, we can conclude that fewer criminals are in the streets because they're busy serving their sentence. Today, people are more aware. The level of education is increasing and the rates of college graduates is going up as well. Media seems to be covering and exposing all crimes so we can stay away and be more careful. An example of this would be the FIFA World Cup. In 2022, Qatar will host the FIFA World Cup, the world's biggest televised event. However, for a country with the highest GDP in the world, you would think that Qatar would treat their workers fairly. But they're lying and exploiting their own workers. After the media covered this issue, many people have started petitions and even said that they will not watch the biggest televised event in the world. Just like that, people would take the information given by the media and try to stay away from the danger, which is one of the many reasons for the decline in crimes.